guys, welcome back to my channel. Sorry, my hair's a little crazy today, so just kind of ignore the frizzy flyaways, but today I'm going to be doing a February wrap-up for you guys. I have my stack of physical books here, but I also did a solid amount of reading on my Kindle. So we are going to go through all the books that I read this month, and yeah, let's just get started. My upstairs neighbor just started his washer, so hopefully it's not super loud, but the first book I read this month was God of Fury by Rena Kent. This is the 5th book in the Legacy of Gods series. I read the first 5 last month and I still have God of War left. I don't know why. I just kind of like fell out of the mood when I was finishing up this series. But I gave this 4 stars. I thought it was pretty good. I got so much more emotional when Landon, Brandon's brother, confessed his love for him than like the MMC. Like I really just was like, oh, I was so happy that they had their brotherly moment. But yeah, this one was definitely one of the better ones in this series. It's not really dark. It's a whole Grumpy Sunshine vibe. It has dark themes in it emotionally, but it's not as like aggressive as the other books, I want to say. But yeah, I feel like I read this ages ago, so I don't really have much to say, but that was the first book I read this month. Then I read Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. 6 stars, 7 stars, 8 stars, 9 stars. Like, so good. I loved it so much. Ugh, I don't know. With all the discourse online, I don't want to talk about it because I don't want anyone to hurt my feelings. I love this book. I loved it. I loved Scarlett. I loved Lucas. I just love Ali Hazelwood's writing. Like, every time she writes, I'm gonna eat it up, okay? I don't know, she makes me feel so seen. When she writes her male main characters, I'm like, oh, so like you're in my head. Ugh. So I'm only not gonna talk about it because of all the discourse online. But if you know me, you know I love Ali Hazelwood, and just know, oh, it was so good. After I read that, I had to immediately read Check and Mate because this was the only book of hers that I didn't reread last year, and I just needed another hit of Ali Hazelwood, and I absolutely love these. This is her YA book, Check and Mate. It's about chess, and it's literally so freaking good. Like, oh, again, 6 stars, 7 stars. Give her all the stars. I love Ali Hazelwood, and I'm always gonna wreck her books. I'm always gonna love her books. I feel like she has not written one that was not a banger for me. I was just in such a happy girl mood. Like, I needed to like come down from the high of Deep End. So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna read another Ali Hazelwood. I still need to calm down from that because it was so good. And then I was like, wait, you know what? I want to reread another one of my favorites. And so I reread Not Another Love Song by Julie Soto. I love this book so much. It's literally so good. The tension between Alex and Gwen, it's literally so good. And it is so funny because I loved it the first time I read it. And then when I reread, it had been long enough that I kind of like, you know, you forget little sentences and here and there. And when I read the last sentence of this book, the second time, I just started crying. I just burst out into tears. And I don't know, I didn't cry the first time, but it literally is just so perfect to me. I love them. I love this book, and I highly recommend. Julie Soto is one of my favorite authors. I've loved her before she was ever a published author, which is so funny because only this year did I realize that I had read her other stuff and loved it. And then I put 2 and 2 together and I was like, so she's my queen. And yeah, I love her. And I love Not Another Love Song. It's literally so good. Those were the only rereads I did this month, I believe. So then I read The Final Rose by Amy Oliveira. This was the January Probably Smut Book Club book. So yes, I annotated it, and I thought it was okay. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I don't love forbidden romance. That's like a common thing. Because there's some level to it where I'm always like, okay, they're 2 consenting adults. Like, why can't they be in a relationship? And this, I guess it sort of makes sense, but it also is just like, it's kind of like a workplace romance. He's like the star basically of like a Bachelor show, and she's like a producer, I think, or something like that. And like, obviously they can't be together, and I don't love that trope. But I meant to skip this in January, and then I forgot. And then when it came in, it was like, I was super short. So then I was like, oh, Slay, I'll just like read this. No problem. I don't want anyone to be like, well, why did you get it if you didn't like forbidden romance? I didn't mean to, okay? But I was like, you know what? Maybe it'll be good. And I thought it was okay. I gave it 2 stars. Like, I don't know. It was fine. It was fine. I didn't care. Then, oh my God, Come Back by Rebecca Janchek came out. It came out like the last day in January or something like that. And I forgot that it was coming out. And I read it and loved it. 4 stars. Like, this is the 3rd book in the Holland Brothers series. And when I finished Playbook, I believe, about Brogan, I was so excited for Archer's story. And Yod 8. So it's like forced proximity, brother's best friend. Like, it was so good. I loved it. Football, professional football romance. It was just like so good. I loved it. And then after I read Burnout by Rebecca Janchek, which is the 1st book in the Holland Brothers series, I wanted to go back and read it because I skipped it last month. And I said about 3.75. And I said that I do like Brogan and Archer more than Knox, but it was fun. And I did really like Avery the FMC. So she's a Olympic gymnast. He is a motocross racer. And she helps him train. And it was pretty good. No complaints there. I'm going through these so fast. Sorry, guys. Then I read the first 2 books in the Legends of Thesmar series, Blood and Steel and Vows and Ruins. And I don't know what, but I just was like, I need a romantasy. I need a romantasy stat. I need one now. I gave these 4 stars. I really liked the chemistry between the romantic lead couple. I thought I had really great found family vibes. Kip and Cal are like 2 of my favorite characters. I love them. And then basically this author is writing like a spin-off series about the main character's sister, and we're getting her and her man's crumbs in these. But basically they live in a world where women can't be warriors, but Miss Girl has always wanted to be one. I don't want to be an alchemist. I want to be a warrior, and I want to be a legendary warrior. Basically, she starts to trade with this man, and we find out that she's actually like really kind of badass. So yeah, it was really fun, and plot twists, like, hello, she what? She huh? He what? He huh? So crazy plot twist. Well, I guess it's sort of a plot twist. I don't know that it's necessarily a plot twist because it's kind of like hinted at throughout the books, but like diabolical last 2 chapters in this one. Basically, this is a 4-book series, and do you know that series that's like Shifting, Slaying the Shadow Prince, Courting the Vampire Conqueror, or something like that? It's like all by different authors. So she wrote Slaying the Shadow Prince. We're gonna get to that in a minute. And I saw it was recommended to read it in the dead middle, so after the 2nd book. And it's about the guy in here's mentor who we hear about in this. And honestly, I'm glad. I feel like it really, when I was reading that, it made sense because I was able to make connections like, oh, that's what that means. He said blah, blah, blah. And I felt like it was a really good placement of like, it didn't ruin, spoiler anything, but it also like gave context to things in here. So I really did see that. I kind of fell off in the middle of that book though, but I think we'll get to why I think that happened with the next 2 books. But yeah, I have the next 2 books as well. I'm gonna try and read these this week. So hopefully I finish this series out, but I think I'm entering a romantasy era, or at least I was. Until then, 2 of like my favorite hockey romance authors released new hockey romance books. So of course I had to read them. So first I read Unloved by Peyton Corinne. So good. So good. She is so good at writing romantic chemistry, like just chemistry between the 2 main characters before any like spice gets involved. And I just like, you really are rooting for these 2 characters for a while before they actually get together. And it was just so cute. I loved our main guy and the main girl. Like they just slayed. Yeah, this I gave like 4.75 stars. There was like 1 or 2 cringe scenes, very small and minute. Otherwise, like, so good. They had such great chemistry, and I was just like cheering, chanting them on, like, you got this. So ate that up. And then The Charlie Method came out by Elle Kennedy, and I read these in a vlog actually, so you might get more content on these 2 books particularly. But I loved The Graham Effect and The Dixon Rule. I was so excited for The Charlie Method, And this one I gave 4.25 stars, not as much as the other two books in this series, because I felt like the last 30 pages should have been like 100 pages. Like there's 3 main characters in this and 2 of them I feel like get a solid wrap up, but Will like had like 10 pages to like finish up his story, and it was just like, whoa, what? It was so random and like really thrown together. So I feel like this could have been another 50 to 100 pages. And I actually really enjoyed it. I liked the main character. I liked like her story and like what she was going through personally. I thought the couple had great chemistry, all 3 of them. Really enjoyed that. But yeah, I did not think the ending was fleshed out enough. It was just like everything happened so fast. Even with Beck and Charlotte, I still felt like their ending was fast paced, but I feel like they got better emotional wrap up. They got more closure, whereas Will just was like, okay, yes, okay, no, okay, I'm done. Like it was just so crazy fast for me, but otherwise I really enjoyed this and I'm excited for whatever she writes next. Her rent was due when she started writing this series, and so I'm hoping this is just like a sign that her writing has just gotten so much better, and I'm excited for the next series. The last book that I read this month was Slaying the Shadow Prince by Helen Shore, and I read this. This is part of the Legends of Thesmar world, and I gave this 3 stars. I think it was good for what it was, but if I hadn't like been reading those in the middle of this, I think I probably would have enjoyed it more. And I just got so thrown off my game. I like to read series straight through, and I think I just really was in the mood for those romances, so I can't wait to get back into this series and really wrap up everything and, you know, get back into the fantasy vibe. But yeah, I thought it was okay. It's like a fun little, it feels like a novella vibe because it's not our main characters, but it's not like a full-length novel, obviously. But it wasn't super long. It was pretty fast-paced, and yeah, it gives you a lot more context, lore, very fun. And the 2 main characters had great chemistry as well. So can't complain. Those are all the books I read this month. I think it was like 11 or 12. 10, 11, 12. Yes, 12 books this month. I am excited to be on my reading grind, and hopefully vlogs coming your way soon. I know I say this every video, but I swear I'm working on them. They're coming, I promise. I love you all. Bye.